when you're in pharma, which is typically a very knowledge driven industry, because so all the industry you know more than the customer. This is the only industry where customer knows more than you. You will never know what the person is doing when you are not there. How you can track? Even if you have seen 3 doctors less and reported, you can't make out most of the time. It can only happen when you're able to create that right purpose and make them believe that this is what they are doing and this is how the success look like. This is what is in it for them if they do it well. A person who doesn't have adopted AI, some other person can go and replace that person who is adept in AI.
One professional habit that helps you stay productive.
Every day when I go to sleep, I try to introspect myself what I have learned new. AI is going to, the person will be replaced by another person who knows the job along with an AI.
Yes.
It's not going to curtail the job. What it's going to do damage is,
So welcome to Pharma Now's podcast, where we uncover the stories, strategies and future vision of pharma's people leaders. Today I am delighted to welcome Mr. Prithwish Pathak, Associate Vice President and Head of Learning and Development, a certified learning architect and NLP practitioner with deep expertise in designing, scaling and transforming learning ecosystems. With a track record of building structured future-ready L&D frameworks in complex organizations, Mr. Prithwish brings both strategic insight and a practitioner's mindset. Mr. Prithwish, I'm really excited to have you on board. So, can you tell us the story, like what drew you into L&D and how did you evolve into becoming a learning architect and head of L&D?
so it's a long journey, to be very honest with you. It's about 27 years of journey in this sector. Initially I started with a sales stint and I moved through the entire sales hierarchy. While I was doing that sales, I understood there is something, especially for these kind of industry, when you're in pharma, which is typically a very knowledge driven industry, because this is one industry wherein your customer knows more than you, the only industry.
Yes.
Okay. So all the industry you know more than the customer. This is the only industry where customer knows more than you. So therefore, if you are not able to prepare your people well, because in pharma it's a very regulated market, as you understand. You can't do ads, you can't do campaigns.
Nothing.
Okay, you can't have kiosks. Okay, and selling this is antibiotic. If you take, you get cured by within 2 days. This kind of campaign you can't do in pharma, right? So ultimately, your medium is the person who is meeting the doctor.
Yes.
Okay, and if that person is not skilled enough to translate the message what you want to be translated and to occupy the mind space of the customer, so it becomes very important that we have the trained people across there, and that's part of the sales. Now, in the entire ecosystem, there is a sales, there is a marketing, there is an HR, there is all other functions are weaved into the organization, and everybody in the whole ecosystem requires a learning. Now, having realized that importance of learning is pharma to be at a very high level, I think, and I was doing good in sales, and I understood what is the requirement from a customer perspective, both internal and external.
Yes.
So what the doctor wants and what our people should be doing, and that actually was one of my interest area, and therefore I moved into L&D to make my career there, and that's how the journey started. Now, being into L&D, it's a very knowledge based domain, and therefore you need to have multiple interest into having those right certifications where you can really you can't stand in a dais and say something crap, people will not listen to you, right?
Yes.
So you need to have that credentials. Okay, so I built myself all those credentials, and then I transform into, and slow and steadily I moved into the L&D head role. So I typically has worked with 3 organizations. One is a Bayer, which is a German multinational. Then I worked for about 16.5 years with Abbott. It's an American multinational. I was holding the L&D space. And thereafter I came to Alkem, which is another Indian multinational. Now, having said that, in this entire journey, I think L&D role has been a very fulfilling role for me so far. And along with L&D, I have also did some stretch stints while L&D was a constant, but I have done a bit of brand management, I have done a bit of a Salesforce excellence role, I have done EHS, I have done multiple other roles which is available. Just to understand that each of these functions, what is the requirement. And once you know that, it becomes very easy for an L&D expert to build and to create that right architecture of learning in the organization. So that's all I can share with you.
From sales to L&D expert. So in your first organization only you were moved from sales
only.
to L&D.
So it was so happened that I was in a field work, and my that time my managing director, Mr. Sanjay Murdeshwar, he came and he met, and then he said he observed me in terms of the way I was doing my job. He said that I think you are more cut for an L&D role, and you will make really great there. The way you are able to understand, observe people, and then coach people, I think you will make a great career. So why don't you come? And that was the way I moved from a sales team to the L&D.
Absolutely amazing story. It's really important when such people come into our life who observe us and who observe our strengths and give us a pathway of we started a career in one domain, and then when there are other coaches or directors and VPs who really notice our strengths and they give us a direction. So I think it's very important for having such people into our life. So you also mentioned that your job is really very fulfilling. So can you exaggerate on that?
See, many times I get a call from someone, whether it may be a part of my current organization or maybe sometime I have touched that person in their life, maybe in my other organization where I have been in the L&D space. And when they come, two kinds of call usually I get very often, very frequent. One, when they have to give an interview for a senior level role, and now they want to understand what is the role they are going for, what are the possible questions and how they should prepare. Okay, that's one. I understand that there is a need and why he is calling, and he is calling me and not anybody else. And the other thing, someone when they get promoted or they built up, they get into some role, they are very successful, and the call comes to me and say, sir, I have been now this.
Wow.
I wanted to share this information. That gives you an immense satisfaction that somewhere you have possibly given it back to the society. You have done something which has made a lot of difference in the life of people. And believe me, this is not about, I'm talking about people who are at the junior level. I even get calls from people who have moved from a VP to a CEO. Okay. At that level, people are calling me and telling me, I still remember you gave me a feedback on this is where I still remember one of the guys I gave him a feedback. He was doing wonderfully well. He was part of the sales team, was doing wonderfully well, but unfortunately, not getting the real move in the career. He asked me one day that, so what should I do? I don't know. I said, you work on your executive presence. That's the one thing you are lacking. And possibly because of which you are unable to create your own perception. He took it very seriously. Today he is a CEO. Okay. Okay. So that is the way you can actually contribute to the life of people, and that gives you enough satisfaction. And it's a learning domain. So every time it's not only you are imparting a knowledge or a skill or a designing a learning curriculum, but at the same time I'm also learning. You learn a lot of things from your own people whom you are actually training or doing things for them. And to keep yourself updated, you have to learn, you have to ahead of the time. For example, today you know how the AI, everybody, it's a talk of a town, right? Yes. Everybody talks about AI. Okay. Now, as an L&D expert, if I do not know 1 plus above, okay, people will, you need to be, that's part of my job. So therefore, I need to be keeping myself updated with the latest trends that are happening across.
Very correct. Okay.
And that when you, and even if you have the right learning curve, and you are really inculcating that habit of reading, learning, browsing and understanding things, and then putting everything together in a shape, and then making a part of the learning curriculum, weaving it in the part of the entire learning path of the organization, that gives you enough satisfaction end of the day. So, and it's a typical role. I always say the L&D role is typical. The job is almost like a, you have salt in a food. Okay. If the salt is not at an appropriate level, either the person who is taking the food will say it's too salty, and if you do not put, suppose the organization runs without an L&D, what happens? It's a non-salty food. So it's an essential part of any organization. The only thing you have to understand is what is the appropriate level you have to put it into the food. So that's, you have to understand that. Sometimes I have seen L&D professionals failing miserably because they want to do too many things. Okay, that doesn't work. You have to actually get into the shoes of your stakeholders or the customer, and then think what they need, and then when you develop things, it works.
Very correct. Okay. Maybe after this session, you can give me also the feedback. I'll also give you a call. Okay, so often L&D is seen as a complex, as a compliance or checkbox function, especially in regulated industry. So you have worked to shift that mindset. What are the biggest mindset or cultural shifts needed to make learnings and development a strategic advantage rather than just an obligation?
I think it's a very good question that you have asked. I think that is this question is in the mind of most of the L&D heads today, and they really need to know the game well. See, it's about understanding your stakeholder, right? And what my business requires. So if you go, you just get into the shoes of your stakeholder. Maybe if you're working for an L&D expert or a L&D head, you need to know what your managing director or CEO or a CXO level people wants this organization to do. And what are their drivers, what they want to drive. Even they want to drive a profitability, they want to drive a culture, they want to drive something.
Yes.
Okay, they have a vision, they have a mission. Now, if you understand that very well and get into their shoes, and then when you try to devise your entire learning strategy and the curriculum and as per their thinking pattern, which suits their thinking pattern, I think it's going to be anyway hit, because they own the program or the curriculum along with you. They are a partner with you.
Yes.
Okay. Most of the time things fails and people look at L&D function to be a checkbox or a tick box. Okay, ठीक है, इतना module करना है कर दिया, इतना program करना है attend कर दिया. Okay, this all happens when the need is not felt. The problem happens there when you try to devise by own yourself, thinking that this is going to help. Okay, it may or may not help. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but the thing is that the way of doing it is wrong. The approach is wrong. You first need to talk to your stakeholder, understand their need. Second, when you are talking, understand their drivers. What drives the stakeholder?
Yes.
Is it profitability he wants to establish, or he is going to build a big brand, or he is going to change the culture, or he is trying to have more discipline in the organization? What is that he wants to do or she wants to do? Once you have that understanding and you are able to weave your programs as per that need, it caters to that need, I think it's going to be a hit. Then you all, it's not an L&D initiative, it's an organization initiative. So you need to, the fundamental thing is you need to change the perception of people or participants or who are going to consume the data module, whatever. Okay, we're going to all the consumers of your learning. They need to look at the program or the initiative as an org level program and not a L&D program. The day they look at things like it's a coming from L&D, that's the defeat. Then it becomes that checkbox. Yes. Then you have to push people to do. Then you have to bring people to say ki you better attend this. So you have to use a lot of stick, carrot, and all these things will start happening. Okay, which usually I have seen happening across many times it happens. But this is a fundamental shift, and every L&D expert should understand. there's no need. You might be thinking that there may be two things which are very important for the organization. You might be thinking, but that doesn't mean you have to immediately develop and roll it out.
Yes.
You go talk to the stakeholders. Let them first realize, is it really required for them? Help them understand that need. Okay. Create that awareness of need. Many times it might happen your stakeholder doesn't realize that need. Then you have to do an awareness of need. Once that need is well established, then you do whatever you want to do. It will click and make them a partner in your crime. Okay, so if you are doing it, make them a part of it, part of the crime. Only then thing will work.
Correct.
Because for whom I am doing for their people, and they should be my partner.
Yes.
That's a fundamental thing one L&D expert should know. Any L&D head or expert should know this.
And not just in this industry, but in every industry.
Every industry, it's not pharma. It has nothing to do with pharma. Everywhere it is
needed.
It's needed.
Yes. I think there is a gap, like the vision of the stakeholders it is not passed on to the lower levels. And I think at that moment or that point, the expert should, bridge that gap, so that the vision is passed on to every layer of the organization. And as you said, awareness is really important, because you may create many programs, but why it is done, why it is important, so that importance, making them know why it is important is really necessary.
So I will just give an example. There was a very simple vision of one of my CEO saying that I want kind of a customer obsession as one of the behavioral traits of every employee of the organization. Okay. Now, as an L&D expert, how he can help me? Okay. I said, how do you define the success? Okay. That how will you say that? Okay. Today, I can say every employee of my organization knows what customer obsession is. It's just not a dialogue or just not a statement, just not a quote, but they live up to that. Okay, how do you say that? What will you observe? You will say that this is a success. Then he said, even my last level of people in the organization is able to understand that. Okay, it's a success. For example, if I am running an hotel industry and my last person who is actually making the room, okay, the room service guy or the housekeeping guy, when he is actually dressing the room and going out, maybe he is creating a nice some kind of some decoration in the bed and then going. That's a customer obsession. He wants to make me happy when I enter the room, and that brings a smile in my face. Now he has understood. It's not a dictum. He has understood and he is doing it. Okay, that is the level of understanding every employee should have at the lowest level. Okay. See, the top level, many people understand what is customer obsession. But the problem is who are actually executing it to the last level, they may not understand. Okay. Or somebody which is sweeping the floor, understand how cleanly I can do that customers are happy. Okay. At that level, it should boil down. I said, wonderful. So I would help you to drive it. And then we devised a complete set of initiatives how that can be translated. It worked wonder. Okay. It was a hit.
Wow.
It was not a tick box anymore. As you asked the question, the earlier question, it was not a tick box. Everybody went for it. Every stakeholders for it. Even sometimes it so happened that I was unable to drive. They were driving on behalf of me. Just you have to understand what your success look like, and accordingly have you devised the program or not.
And I think it also makes the people, happy when they are involved. And when they are known, like why they are doing it, and not just mere work I am doing, like I want to sweep the floor, I want to make the room. But when they are involved to such big programs, then they are also happy doing it, and it's being like more fun doing the job every day.
Every employee should think there is a purpose why I am going to office. There is a purpose why I am going for a work. If that you are able to create, and as an L&D expert, if you are able to help to create that for the organization, I think you have addressed most of the problems. Then you have the lowest attrition, and if you have low attrition, everything will fall into place. So it's all about how you define. The moment the day an employee thinks like, I don't feel like going into office, or I don't feel like going into the market, or my sales rep says, "यार ठीक है, कल कर लेंगे." Okay, 2 डॉक्टर कम देख लेंगे, कल देख लेंगे 2 ज़्यादा. That's where your purpose is defeated. Okay, and that way somewhere you need to bring that level of motivation in people, that level of sense of create that level of purpose. The most of the time we fail because we are unable to create a purpose. We go by dictum. Okay, we go by rules, we go by regulation. We say इतना आपको डॉक्टर कॉल करना है. Okay, we say that this is how you need to do. Now when that dictum is given, to bring that compliance become very difficult.
Yes.
It's very difficult. You will never know what the person is doing when you are not there. How you can track? Even if he says, I have seen 3 doctors, even if he has seen 3 doctors less than reported, you can't make out most of the time. Okay, it can only happen when you are able to create that right purpose and make them believe that this is what they are doing and this is how the success look like. This is what is in it for them if they do it well. So something that is very, very critical. Where you can do a wonderful, as an L&D, you can do a wonderful partnership with your stakeholders and bring those elements into picture.
Amazing. Okay, moving on, designing scalable and effective learning in large organizations isn't easy because there are too many people, too many programs, too many visions. What's your approach to balancing structured learning with flexibility? How do you ensure people actually apply what they learn?
I think that's another very powerful question which you have asked, and possibly let me make it little simple for you just to make you understand. I will give a example of our industry, pharma. So 20-25 years or 30 years back, the kind and quality of sales rep we used to get were very different, and today what we get is very different. Now we get different not because we want to get it different, it's just that we don't get the right talent now who wants to come to join as a rep in the pharma. Okay, because there are a lot of more opportunities in the market today. A Gen Z who is at the college, they have at least 10 different options in their career today. Okay, those options were not available some 30 years back.
Correct.
They had only either they will become an engineer, they will become a doctor, or they will become a sales rep, or maybe some here and there little bit of some accounts or CA, or it's very limited level of thing they could do. So what used to happen is that we used to get a little higher quality people into the pharma who used to join as sales rep, where skill sets were a little better than when the incumbent skill sets were much better than what we get today. So therefore, when suppose you are building a selling skill model. Okay, now in that selling skill model, whatever the difficulty is, okay, but people will be still able to practice those selling skill and produce result, because you have given them a model which they will be able to absorb and reproduce. Now the same selling skill, you continue to maintain that for next 30 years, and you are asking today's sales rep also to do that, which is a too high dose for them, because the incumbent whom we have got, who are training, is a little compromised candidate as compared to the person you are getting 30 years back.
Correct.
And I said, the reason I said, okay, maybe you are getting the people who are even struggling with the communication. Okay, and you are asking them to really exhibit a very high level probing skills. Okay, don't expect that. It's not going to happen. So therefore, important is while you are creating the content, okay, you need to keep your participant into the mind. This is the level of my participant, and this is what I can give them. Maybe with a 15% a little higher EA, we can give them, but not drastically too high to them. Okay, because that what will happen if you try to give them a too high curriculum or too high content, they will absorb but they will not reproduce it. They will not apply, because they will have a fear to apply it. They can't. Okay, you have to realize that. Now I'm giving another example. you are a marketeer in pharma, and you have designed 5 pages of detailing a product. Now today the skill set of my rep who is meeting the doctor is only getting 30 seconds at the highest level, because the competition has become large.
Yeah.
You have more number of reps meeting the customer, so the time has shrunk. Okay, you are only getting 10 to 30 seconds for the call. Now in the 30 seconds of the call, you want the sales rep to exhibit 5 pages for one brand, like that there are 4 more brands. Okay, just not possible. So therefore all marketers should realize they need to cut down the content from 5 pages and they to make a one very powerful message paging. Then the people will apply. But if you are having that wishful thinking and ideal thinking of a sales rep who is able to converse and create that need and then taking the call from 30 seconds to 5 minutes and it's going to happen, it's all wishful thinking. That's not going to happen. Okay. And otherwise what will happen, if you still try to devise those heavy curriculum or a heavy content, they will just go give some brand reminders and finish their job and go out. They will not even discuss with the doctor and you will miserably fail in your messaging. So therefore I'm just giving these examples to make you understand. Build content as per your participant, understanding your participant, what they will be able to reproduce. Only then they will apply it. If you try to give them something which is not applicable, not practical, they are not going to apply. It's only sitting in the class or learning a content or consuming a content through online and saying, wow, what a content is, but then they don't apply. Okay. They will feel good about the content, but they will not apply. Because application is difficult for them. Okay. So, I hope I have answered your question.
Yes. It should be like into their interests.
Into their interest and as per their capability. As per their capability. Now, suddenly, you don't expect a Prithwish Pathak to go and do a acting like Amitabh Bachchan. It's not going to happen. It's too high skill set for me. I can maybe try to do a small street drama going out from here. So train me on that, I can do that. But tomorrow, if you expect me to just act like Amitabh, it's just not possible. It's all wishful thinking. I will not be able to do. I will take years to come up to that level. Okay. So you have to understand that what I can do, what my participant can do. Devise your content like in that fashion. Only then the application will come.
True. Okay. Moving on. As talent expectations evolve with hybrid work, rapid skill shifts and digital tools, how do you see L&D and HR roles evolving in next 3 to 5 years in pharma and related industries? What should organizations start preparing from now?
So it's a question which I will say that with all this technology, AI, everything surrounding you, today, if the L&D and HR folk doesn't realize the kind of transformation that is happening in the job market, they will have to fast start replacing employees with an employee who is an AI trained employee. So I always say AI is not going to take a job. AI is going to, the person will be replaced by another person who knows the job along with an AI. Okay, so AI independently doesn't take a job. Only thing that is not going to even cuttle jobs. Okay, people have that myth feeling that possibly AI will cuttle job. AI can only cut job for some kind of a routine work, especially in the IT sector or some other routine works. Okay, but for a general job, it's not going to cuttle the job. What is going to do damage is the person who doesn't have adopted AI, some other person can go and replace that person who is adept in AI. So therefore, it's time for HR to start completely rewriting the job descriptions. Okay, now they should actually pull out all the job descriptions of the employees, look at and see where the application of AI is there, and then they should distribute it in the market or whatever the headhunters are there. They should give those, so they should, when they are scrutinizing CVs, they pick up only those CVs which matches their job description. Because the job description says that the person should be able to utilize AI in 1, 2, 3, 4 place, and they should also now start on scouting for those CVs. Okay, so that's a part of HR they have a role to play. From an L&D, it's again I say that if you do not AI, possibly there will be someone who will replace your content. Okay, because your content will become, you will not be able to produce that engaging content which with the help of AI today you can produce. Okay, it's very simple. Is that the same? I want to devise a psychometric tool for one of my content or one of my program. I might take 4 hours to devise that. But if I use the help of AI, I can do in 15 minutes, and then I can fine tune it for another half an hour. So 45 minutes, my thing is ready.
Yes.
That's the advantage. This is what L&D needs to understand. If they say, no, it's there is nothing better than a human, so we'll not adopt AI. I think that should not be the approach. The approach should be embrace AI. Obviously, you cannot replace a human touch. You cannot replace a human intelligence. AI just can't replace that. You need to fine tune things. You need to fine tune a content. You need to fine tune. But if you use an AI, your job becomes far more easier. Okay. In the sense you are using a chat GPT, possibly it is pulling content from maybe 1,000 websites and giving it to you, which you would have consumed another full day only on surfing to get that same content. That's the way it helps you. Okay, it gives you. It's like you have seen in a possibly an eye specialist when you go for an eye checkup. Sometimes the doctors will use a machine to and read your how much power your eyes have. So while they use a machine, but finally the power has been decided by the doctor. Finally, the doctor comes and does that fine tuning. Okay, so here is the human touch. So I say it's a combination of both the AI and the human that should work. Okay, in tandem. The human should not say that I will work minus an AI and you can use AI alone. Okay, it's a together. It's a joint effort.
Mix of both things.
Mix of both this, and that HR and L&D has to know, has to adopt.
Correct. So for HR and L&D leaders who are listening us today, if you had to give them one actionable piece of advice to begin building a learning first culture, so what it would be?
So I would say 2 things here. One, understand what your audience need is. The perfect understanding of your audience need is a very, very critical factor. Okay. And the second is, as I said some time back, give the person what the person requires, only up to that. Do not overload. If you try to overload, things will not work, especially in the learning domain. That's the 2 things. I think if these 2 points are kept in mind while they do their work, most of the thing will fall into place.
So people should take notes. Okay, I think people must be taking notes from, a lot of notes have been taken from this podcast. So just a quick rapid fire round. If you could instantly master one new skill, work related or personal, what it would be?
Understanding more AI tools.
Favorite learning format, book, video, podcast, peer conversation?
Today, if you ask me, it's podcast.
One professional hack, habit that helps you stay productive?
Every day when I go to sleep, I try to introspect myself what I have learned new.
Every day?
What I have learned new today.
Nice. So, do you write or it's?
It may be anything. It may be reading a small article which I was not knowing, or it may be anything that I have added to my either a knowledge or a skill. Have I done that? Have one information, or it can be a simple GK, general knowledge, which I have added to me. That is enough for me.
So, what's a non-work hobby or activity that helps you recharge?
Listening to music and podcast.
If you had to describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
One word, if I say I'm a person with a high grasping power. So maybe a fast learner.
Fast learner. Okay, thank you so much. It was really nice having you on our podcast today, and it was really nice talking to you. I've learned so many things, and surely I'll be applying it. I'll be talking with my HR and I'll be applying it.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you,
My
thank
pleasure.
you, thank you so much, sir.